Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, New Zone Fitness, the holistic approach. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. So really, I would like to pick up on the question I left you, which was this energy that we give away, whether we give it away voluntary or involuntary, we give it away. What of that energy do you bring back to yourself? It's so important, and that's why I think it's first principle for really sustaining a sense of well-being and keeping that weight off is our relationships with ourselves, the way we talk back to ourselves, the way we move through the day, and the things we allow ourselves to become. So really, number one is really becoming comfortable with who you are in your most natural, vulnerable state, and learning to show up and be your best ally. So number one is learning to really give yourself the right attention and the right focus. So number two is action. Without action, nothing is feasible. We need to really manifest the things we are thinking about. And if there are good things that are going to serve us, really want to act on it as quickly as possible. Just like Nike says, just do it. Just do it. When we sit in our heads for too long, we can end up becoming in this loop of, I'm going to do it, then you don't do it. And what does that do? We take it back to our first principle of our relationship with ourselves. Now imagine that was a relationship with somebody else, and every time you said you were going to do something, you didn't turn up. You wouldn't have a really healthy relationship with that person. You wouldn't really trust them. You wouldn't think they're reliable. You wouldn't ultimately like them, would you, if they treated you like that? So now let's take that and put it back on ourselves. So every time we say we're going to do something that's positive and then we fail to show up, that's going to create a relationship with ourselves that isn't of harmony. It's not going to invoke peace within ourselves. We're going to end up talking down and berating ourselves, poking and picking and, tearing ourselves down. So really, movement, action is the key thing, really, because when we get up and we honor ourselves, whether it's just getting up and going for a walk, doesn't have to be something huge, it could be something very small. It's the smallest steps, it's the micro steps that we really want to be celebrating. So just really turning that energy into something a bit more of life. If you think of water is kind of stuck, it becomes stagnant. Whereas you want to see that water flow, you see it having life within it. Same thing within ourselves. We are an energy system, and when we allow ourselves to become stuck, everything becomes very frustrating, very difficult, and creates more pain and suffering. And so the cycle goes on. So we have a thought that is something positive that's going to serve us. For example, okay, I want to go for a walk. Then go for a walk. Just go for a walk. Don't overthink it. If you find yourself overthinking it, come back and say, well, this is what I tend to do. This is what I'm about. I overthink things. But regardless to my overthinking, I'm going to overrule that. Because I also recognize that our thinking isn't 100% true, right? Just because we have a thought doesn't make it gospel truth. So you get up, ignore all the thoughts, all the bad habit thoughts, habitual thoughts that may come to you, and say, oh, I can't be bothered, I'll go tomorrow, I'm not in the mood, I've got other things to do, I haven't got time. All these different excuses will come through. Anticipate them, because that's a part of you, and that's knowing yourself. And that's why I say number one principle is to become aware. because you'll recognize what you're like. So it's like starting a new habit. It's like wearing a new pair of shoes. Expect them to hurt, expect to get blisters maybe, but eventually once you break into them, it's fine dandy. You're going to feel great. You're going to be able to appreciate them. So number 2 principle is take action. Take action for yourself. Don't just sit there and allow yourself to ruminate in your mind. So that brings me on to the 3rd principle very nicely, actually, which is being present. Now, if we're thinking about things that happened to us in the past, there's nothing we can do about that. It's nothing. It's literally like standing over milk that's been spilled. It's gone. It's done. Finished. Move on. Move on. And how we move on is by integrating principle number 2, by taking action. Not living in that stagnated place of what life was. That's happened, it's gone. You don't want to be in a situation talking in past tense. You want to be talking about now. And also the future. We don't want to think too far ahead and start projecting out things. If this happens to me, if that happens to me, all these different factors that are unknown to us. We don't really need to involve ourselves. We just really need to think of this moment and take care of it. And if we're taking care of this present moment, if we're aware of what we're doing, even if it's something that's not serving you. So for instance, you might become aware of a bad habit of, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you may go off and start picking food. There's no point coming back and saying something really mean to yourself, like, why are you doing that? You're so stupid. You'll never do this. You'll never achieve your goals. Just come back and say, okay, this is what I like to do. I like to do this. So how can I improve on this situation? Start having that conversation with yourself so you can work it out together as you would with a relationship outside yourself. If you came across a problem, you would try to work it out if that relationship mattered to you, was meaningful to you, right? So number 3 is really being in the present moment, because this is where life is. This is where change happens. This is where you get to see yourself in a different light. This is where you see what your character's like, what you want for yourself. So how do we do that? How do we come back into the present moment? Is by becoming mindful, by just looking at exactly what you're doing and trying to be there. But the thing I really want to emphasize about the holistic approach, when we think about fitness and health and weight loss, we want to look at it like with curiosity. We don't want to come into this new energy system with I have to, I should do. We want to come back like a child. When you look at a child, say for instance riding a bike for the very first time, they'll fall off, they get back on, they'll fall off, they may graze themselves, but they're giggling, they may cry in between, but they dust themselves off and get back on, and off they go again with a sense of curiosity and joy and tears and laughter. But they get back on again until they can actually perform riding the bike. The same thing with us. What happens to us when we become grown-ups, adults? We lose that sense of curiosity with ourselves, that sense of fun, that sense of humor. Bring that back into your life. Try to look at it from a different perspective, that it's not so serious. Everything isn't so serious. It's temporal. These things, these situations will pass. It's how we use them in this present moment. So just a recap. Number 1 is to love thyself, to nurture and care and protect and honor, respect yourself. That is the baseline. And from that, we take action from that point. Action from the present moment. they all come together. I hope this video has helped you, and please leave a comment and let me know how you move through the day, whether you are really becoming aware of what you're doing, how you're thinking, and what kind of action are you wanting to take, and perhaps discuss how you feel like being in the moment, what you find that kind of hooks you back into the moment. So we really want to use this platform to help each other, inspire each other to move up, to raise our game, to thrive, to become enlightened, because it's the mystical that, sorry about that, it's the mystical that I really want to talk about, really, and I will be bringing that to you very shortly. I know I keep talking about it, but it's something that is so profound and so surreal that I even find myself like, oh my goodness, how am I going to share this with the world? That is the honest truth. It is so profound, and it's happening on a daily basis. So hence why I'm here. So, but I also want to incorporate the whole spectrum of the holistics, the mind, body, and spirit. So, love you and leave you. Have a wonderful day. Until our next video, hopefully I'll be showing you how we use the sessions with the abundance, with the stretching, and then with the training, and then cooling off with meditation and mindfulness. Please leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. Take care, God bless, and look after yourselves. Bye.